Look at the amount of smoke, absolutely crazy. Smoke's insanely mad. Fire, water, heart. Well, that doesn't really work here because this car's variants are known as Earth and Wind Infinity as well. Okay, that was a Captain Planet reference. He's the hero. Anyways, I'm driving this. This is the Vinfast VF6 and the key of the vehicle has piano black finishing here, black finishing right here, and obviously white as well. The logo, this to sound the alarm, unlock the car, lock the car, and this is to open the boot, which is not a powered tailgate. Anyways, this car is very attractively priced at rupees 19.43 lakhs for this particular variant, and there are a lot of perks like free charging as well for people who buy it initially, but more on that later when we drive this car. Straight away, let's open the engine bay, or rather the front motor bay, because this is the front motor and it's a front motor only, but there is no frunk here, which is disappointing. There should have been some storage space here. Brake fluid reservoir goes in right there. There's no insulation here. Washer fluid goes in right there. And this bay is completely packed. Yes, that's right. Completely packed. You get 4 parking sensors at the front. This is the provision for the towing hook. Meanwhile, here you get a honeycomb grille, the radar for ADAS, the camera right here, the front camera, the Vinfast logo, and all LED DRLs, which obviously look like a V here, which looks quite nice. The indicator functioning here, that is very much functional. Yes, active air curtains right there. There's actually a camera there for lane keep assist because this car has got level 2 ADAS with 14 features, and it also has a rain sensor right there. This is the main light of the vehicle, which is an LED unit. It's a projector. This is both for the low beam as well as the high beam of the vehicle. What is this? I think this is the provision for a fog lamp probably. Doesn't make sense. And you get a black bumper here, and this black treatment carries throughout the vehicle because you get it over the wheel arch as well on the sides too, just to reduce the visual bulk or probably to reduce the cost of manufacturing, because this is plastic, it's not painted here. And the wheels, these are 18 inches, 225, 55, 18. The alloy wheel design is fantastic. The lower variant, the Earth variant, actually gets 17-inch wheels. Abroad it comes with 19-inch wheels. Yes, that's that. Meanwhile, the ground clearance has been raised for India by 40 mm. It's 190 mm. Abroad it is actually 150 mm. Meanwhile, these roof rails are functional. They can take 75 kgs of weight. Shark fin antenna, this chrome around the windows, which looks quite premium. Request sensor here. No request sensor on the other side. That's so much like Hyundai Kia. Probably Vietnam is closer to Korea than it is to Japan, because Maruti offers it on both the sides actually. There's a camera here. Obviously, you get the indicator right there. And the overall design of this car is more crossover than SUV. And that's a bit of a problem because people like SUV design, not crossover design. Now, in terms of length, it is less than the Creta. It is 4.2 meters, slightly more than that, 4241 mm. Meanwhile, the wheelbase is the same as the Tata Sierra, which makes it really amazing because the wheelbase is 2730 mm. However, that really doesn't translate to better space on the inside, so that's a bit disappointing because of the way the treatment has been done. It gives it the floating roof treatment, which is also kind of nice. The rear also continues the same V light design, so the tail lamp also get the V treatment with the Vinfast logo right here. You get a rear wiper washer comes from here. High mounted stop lamp, you obviously get a rear spoiler as well. Indicator functioning here at the moment. This thing is jutting out, and the bumper obviously is finished in black. Yeah, lot of plastic. You get 4 parking sensors, provision for the towing hook, VF6, the branding, and the rear parking camera as well. You can see the underbody, that's actually the suspension, and that is the battery hanging down from there. Straight away, let's open the boot. The boot is not going to open because I've kept the car in neutral. Otherwise, what happens now? The car keeps turning off. Why does the car keep turning off? Simply because this car doesn't have an engine start button or anything of that sort. So it will automatically turn on. Now I have come into this. Let's open the boot. What is wrong with you? Let me just open the boot. You won't let me open the boot only. Weirdo. So let's try that. Yeah. I don't know if the boot is going to open today or not. But yeah, that's a bit of a challenge that now the boot has opened. That there's no vehicle start button. So much like MG, the boot's loading lip is actually narrow, and this is just 423 liters, which is just not big enough. And there's no parcel shelf, because if it was there, then people would think the boot is even smaller. There is no spare wheel here either. Very cheap first aid kit, and there's a warning triangle. There you get the tire inflator. This is the puncture sealant, and below this also there's something, but you know what, it has 3 screws right there where the spare wheel could be mounted, but there's no spare wheel here, which is disappointing. I don't know what this is. There's a hook here, there's a hook here, and here you can access, I don't know what, maybe the rear suspension for repairs if you want. And this seat actually folds down in 60-40 format if you want to increase the boot carrying capacity, which you probably might have to. What is here? I don't know. Something is there. You tell me what in the comment section below. No power tailgate. Let's shut this and straight away let's get inside. Okay, the rear seat doesn't look inviting enough. Firstly, it has got, okay, now I think child lock has been activated. Door pockets are like really very small. 1 liter bottle simply does not fit in here at all. Nice bronzish treatment. It has the mocha interior like the Thar Rocks, so you have this nice beautiful stitching as well. But lot of hard plastics in this car. Tweeter placement, I believe. And here you can obviously fold the seat if you want, but the recline of the seat is fixed. It does not recline any further, so that's fixed. Straight away, let me tell you, rear seat is a bit disappointing because footroom, okay, fine, not great. Knee room is also okay, not great. However, under thigh support is really very poor. Knees up position, and legroom also isn't that great. However, headroom seems to be adequate enough for someone as tall as me, which is nice. You get a handle with nice soft damping. You get some storage space here. Magazine holder actually scooped out as well. AC vent to USB-A, not USB-C, USB-A charging sockets. Hard plastics everywhere. Floor is obviously going to be flat because this is born electric. And here you get an armrest without cup holders because the cup holders are actually here. That's neat. And you get light placement here on the top, which is a bit behind because of this massive panoramic moonroof. Yeah, this does not open at all. And Vinfast is like, we will give you a curtain for initial bias. That curtain is so important in India because otherwise this car is going to become super hot because of the greenhouse effect. Meanwhile, you get ISOFIX child seat mounts. Center passenger gets an adjustable headrest as well. Nice. And overall rear seat experience is just quite disappointing, to be honest, because there's no space here. You rather pay a little bit more and get the VF7. No height adjustable seat belts. Says airbag here. Says airbag here as well because it has got curtain airbags. And the dashboard has 2 less buttons. Yeah, there are no buttons only. Everything is reliant on the touchscreen. Somebody wants to be Tesla now. Anyways, rear seat experience disappointed. So let's get out, and straight away let me tell you that the doors, they feel very, very, very heavy. I feel that every time I have to shut the door, I have to put in a lot more effort. Charging port has been placed here. This eliminates when charging obviously happens. Fit finish and panel gaps could be slightly better because I can find some misalignments here and there, which is obviously expected considering our Indian brand, which has been selling cars since donkey's years, has not been able to figure that out. And this is just an 8-9 year old car brand. There is no justification to having panel gaps in spite of your age. But anyways, it gets 8-way power adjust driver's seat, which is nice. You get a proper dead pedal. You get a knee airbag as well. That's the reason this car has got 7 airbags. Again, door pockets are not really big at the front. They are long, but they're not big enough. And you get 1 touch up and down power windows. Yeah, for all the doors, 1 touch up and down. And obviously it has got anti-pinch as well, which is kind of nice and cool. I like this treatment. Definitely a job well done. No buttons here. Absolutely no buttons only. I don't know what they're doing. Seats are nice and comfortable. It says airbag here. Yeah, they are wide enough. And once I get inside, I realize, where is the instrument cluster? There is none. Yeah, there is none. You're completely reliant on this screen, which is a bit too disappointing. And that's the reason they have actually given it a heads-up display, which also shows you the rear cross traffic alert. So in case somebody is in your line of sight, it tells you there. That's nice. It has this continuous AC vent treatment as well, and easy to shut the AC vents. Yeah, you can shut them properly. The glove box is not that big, but doesn't even have the cooling function. And the owner's manual is like 338 pages because there's a lot to learn considering you have to rely completely on this touchscreen. This warranty booklet actually opened my eyes. More on that when we drive the car later in this video. Lot of hard plastics, like lot of them. Everywhere. The dashboard is actually huge, but there are a lot of hard plastics. This is auto dimming. Obviously, I don't know why this is open and shows me wires inside. light placement here on the top, and you get a mirror here. That's it. There is no light, and this does not extend either. So massive glass roof. Yeah, it brings in a lot of airiness inside, but it's going to bring in a lot of heat as well. They call it the D-cut steering, something which is Hyundai Kia speak, and overall steering feels nice to hold. But when I press this button for voice commands, it says feature is unavailable in your country. Heated steering, which is useless here. It just makes a sound to tell you it has been activated, and these are buttons for the cruise control. These are the buttons for the audio system. That's about it. The horn is decent actually. You get a flat bottom treatment here. Steering wheel is adjustable both for reach as well as rake, a bit hard right now, and automatic wipers. That is for the control of the indicators. Thankfully that is not buried in the touchscreen. And if I press this button here, I can browse through the twin trip meters and the odometer and see a lot of other factors, including the temperature and stuff. But why is this not aligned? This stitching does not meet this panel here. So yeah, a bit of ill-fitting stuff happening in this car. In terms of speakers, this car has got an 8-speaker system. Audio quality is so-so. It's not great. But then these are not branded speakers, so I can't expect much. Now here it has this passage, but you can't really pass because this thing is extending all the way out. There is a net here, so some storage space right here. Twin cup holders, and you press this button and open this front center armrest. There's some storage space here along with a 12-volt charging socket, and it also has 2 USB-A charging sockets. This car has no USB-C charging sockets, which is disappointing because I don't have any USB-A cables anymore. I threw all of them one day. And there is the airbag written right here because 7 airbags, curtain airbags and all those things. In terms of safety, it should fare well because they are making cars for developed countries. They have huge aspirations for Europe as well as the United States of America. Now in terms of buttons, these are the only buttons here. So this is to go into reverse, neutral and drive. Okay, this is the electric parking brake. So basically when you come to park, this electric parking brake also gets activated. And this is for drive mode. So you can change the drive modes from here, for which you need to be in drive, I guess. No, you don't need to be in drive. And then press this button. There you see drive modes change. 3 drive modes here. This screen happens to be a 12.9 inch screen, and this will remind you of another brand screen which is the same size, exact same size. Well, Volkswagen is now giving us 12.9 inch screens in their cars, and the Golf GTI as well as the Tiguan R-Line, which was launched in India, has the exact same size screen. You know why? Volkswagen has a partnership with SAIC in China, wherein they are making a lot of components and selling it here and there, and obviously a lot of components in this car are coming from China because China is like the global hub. Obviously Vietnam is not a big manufacturing hub as such. Straight away, let me remove the plastic from here and tell you that, oh my goodness, this is absolutely crazy because for light control also I need to get into this screen. Yeah, for light control. What if I want to adjust the mirrors? Then I have to get into this screen and adjust it. So if I press left mirror control, then I have to change it from here. This is so damn freaking crazy. Why have they made it so complex? I have no idea. Everyone wants to be Tesla, but trust me, Tesla doesn't want to be Tesla itself. Tesla wants to be Mercedes-Benz. So a lot of information coming here. So the speed is coming here. It's telling you the range, percentage of the battery, which mode you are in terms of drive, in terms of these modes as well. And there's something known as car mode, okay, which is obviously the drive mode. Eco, normal, sport. You swipe it here, you have got 4 region levels of low, mid and high. That's fine. It tells you fasten seat belt, and to get into air conditioning, you press this button. It has a dual zone climate control air conditioning with an ionizer as well and PM1 filter. So if you want to turn on ventilation for the seats, you press this button here. Yeah, everything is so reliant on the touchscreen. It's a bit frustrating, although the ventilated seats are very effective, and to just shut them, you press this button right there. Yeah, I'm just so baffled by why everything is in the touchscreen. Now, this is the home screen. It has got Apple CarPlay and Android Auto connectivity, both of which work wirelessly, which is fantastic. And then you have these widgets here, which makes things a lot easy. So when I come into EV, I can see what is the state of the battery. It's saying charge door is unlocked. It tells me the battery temperature, whatever. It tells me all those things, which is actually a good thing. Then I can come into other settings like driver aids. And it does take some time to load. Lane assist, emergency lane keeping, you can turn them on and off from here. Forward collision warning, blind spot detection, all those things. Fantastic, because ADAS is like now the norm. and at this price it's giving us a lot of features. Main thing is a big battery at this price, which is fantastic. Let me come out of this menu and show you other things. So everything is well laid out here in widgets, and there are obviously games as well, because with EVs, when you are charging the car, you want to be playing games, right? What else can you do? You cannot use this while driving. I'm in drive mode actually, so let's come into parking, and yeah, now I can play this. So it's going to load for a bit. They've put this soft touch material on the dashboard, which kind of looks nice as well, and I love this mocha treatment in the interior, which is also kind of cool. So you can obviously play games if you want, and yeah, whatever. I accept everything you say. Let's straight away race. Okay, it's got me to the garage and all. Gets a bit confusing. You need a lot of time to be able to. Oh God, it has got connected car tech. Obviously, with a smartphone app, you can actually go ahead. It's calling somebody. I don't know who is it calling. Just. Arey bhai, nahi. Stop it. How do I cut the call? So I was telling you, it has got connected car tech with a smartphone app. You can do geofencing, you can unlock the car, and you can do all those things as well. And again, I'm going to get into this app. I just got misled. So it's going to take some time to load. Let it load. You see this nice chrome treatment here, which is kind of cool as well. And if I move the seat any more ahead now, what's going to happen? My knee is going to hit this panel here. And you know what? They made this programmable. But only thing you can do is turn on and off the drive mode. That's it. You can only toggle the drive mode. You cannot assign any other function here, which is kind of weird. Like, why would you do that? This thing is absolutely stupid. Not letting me play only the game. हम करते हैं प्रबंध. But anyways, let me get out of this and let me come into reverse straight away. This is the reverse parking camera. It has got adaptive guidelines, which is cool. It has this transparent car as well, shows you what's around you, and then you have got multiple views as well. Camera quality is okay. It's not really great as such, especially the side cameras. Like, what is this quality? It's not that impressive. I've turned it. Why is it not showing me that the steering is turned? It's kind of weird that it's all AI modeled or something of that sort. And then what about the 360-degree camera? First things first, I come into parking here. I give an indicator. When I give an indicator, see, it's showing me the transparent car here. So depending on which indicator it shows me, so it's saying curb view, and obviously it's transparent, so you can see through that. So the blind view monitor is phenomenal here. Camera quality is actually something which needs improvement. It's not the best, but at this price, I can't really complain much about the camera quality here. Yes, this is to open the boot. This is to come into the wiper controls, rear wiper and all, but actually you control the wipers from here only, thankfully, not reliant on that completely. By the way, there are multiple modes here. So there is a mode called cam mode, and then there is a mode called dog mode, wherein it turns on the air conditioning and it gives this warning on the screen so people know there's a dog sitting inside, air conditioning is on, and the dog will not choke. So that's kind of nice. And then there's obviously a wash mode. There happens to be a valet mode as well. And then you can decide various settings like creep, auto hold, auto gear, electronic stability control, and traction control system. All from here. You can turn them on and off if you want. And right now, I think I want to just turn off the air conditioning system. When I come into reverse, you see the rear view mirror auto dips. The left one dips, the right one does not. And that is so that you can see the curb while parking this car. And it has got heated mirrors as well, which is kind of nice. So very minimalistic cabin. That's the calendar. And I was searching for some settings to show you a lot more, for which I get confused. This is the settings menu. Everything is inside the setting, which is a bit frustrating. There are themes. So this is the minimal theme. There's this Vinfast theme as well. It basically changes color, and there's this light theme, which makes everything white here. I'll just keep the Vinfast theme at the moment. And there's no button to turn on and off the vehicle. All you do is just get out of the car, and if you have the key with you, it will automatically lock. It will just automatically lock. It will not wait for you. So here I get out of the car, and as soon as I move away, the car will automatically lock. But since the cabin is not very easy in terms of the, but see there it locked, it made this sound as well. So I'm saying the cabin is not easy to operate because everything is in the touchscreen and the rear seat doesn't have space. So two big issues here. But how is the driving experience? Let's start driving right away. All right, let's start driving, which means I come into drive and off we go. It's as simple as that. I just turn off the air conditioning so it doesn't make any sound. Oh my goodness, I'm frustrated with the fact that everything is reliant on this touchscreen. Let's turn on the camera. Does it turn on? Yes, it does. 360 view is quite cool. Oh, it turns off at 20 kilometers per hour. Will it turn on again? Let me see at this speed. Yeah, it does. And oh my goodness, this 360 view is so damn cool. It becomes transparent once it starts reading what's around. And okay, hazard lights on off buttons are here. Like there are three buttons. There's one to lock and unlock the vehicle, there's the hazard light, and there's the controller for volume and also to power on and off the audio system, which is good. At least some physical buttons they managed to give. Otherwise Vinfast is like no physical buttons for you. Now this is an acoustic windshield, which doesn't really make much of a difference because honestly electric cars are anyway silent because the electric motor makes no sound. Now I'm driving it in eco mode. It's so smooth. Even when you get hard on the throttle, it really doesn't push you back into the seat aggressively. That's a Range Rover, by the way. Yes, asli ID se Range Rover or rather Brezza, whatever. So this car is having a lot of small features which you have to really dig into the screen to figure out. Like it has got follow me home headlamps. It has got vegan leather. Yeah, the leather here is vegan because obviously electric hai na, so it has to be sustainable. There's TPMS, tire pressure monitoring system, because I keep getting this warning, this tire pressure less in one of the tires. Oh my goodness, it's telling me here. I like the ADAS system, which is telling me that there's something ahead of me, which is kind of nice. In fact, this screen also has the owner's manual. There's a digital owner's manual as well, which is fantastic. And obviously I was talking about the valet mode, one of the 4 modes of this car. And that valet mode lets you restrict the car between 80 to 145 kilometers per hour. 80 kilometers per hour is the minimum speed. That's a lot, and that's actually the new MG Hector, Faisal, Hector, why can't you say it right? Why is the indicator on this side? This is not America, this is India. In Asia, usually the indicators are on the right side, but then Vinfast is like, we want to go into more developed countries, so obviously we are going to set it that way. So like I was telling you, the valet mode is kind of useless here because 80 kilometers per hour is too much of a speed to be the minimum speed. And you can set wallpapers, but those, look at this, okay, that's so nice, the camera view. So the wallpaper ki problem is now there are 4 preset wallpapers. You can't customize it or put your own, which is a bit disappointing. And another thing which is disappointing in this car are the lack of features. There is no wireless charging pad here. There is no ambient lighting. In fact, let me use the front wipers. See, there is spray inside, but no water is coming. You know why? Okay, ADAS is continuously so aggressive. Water is not coming. The indicator is not cancelling. There might be a setting for the same. The reason the water is not coming is because I poured water in the reservoir, the windshield wala, okay, washer fluid wala, and I think it drained out. So there's some issue with the pipe. I think it's leaking because at the front immediately the wipers worked, but at the rear, like the spray only did not reach. So there's some issue there. Anyways, let's straight away accelerate. Oh my god, this guy's quite fast for what is eco mode right now. And notice something, okay? Here, this thing is actually like the headlamp or the tail lamp of the car. So when you accelerate, there's this bar which actually, like you understand, right? It's difficult to explain, but that's kind of neat and nice attention to detail. So for the price, it has a big battery, 59.6 kilowatt hour battery pack, which is actually quite big. Globally, I think it also comes with a bigger battery than this one. And because this is the high variant, firstly let us laugh a bit, because what does it say there? Brit. I can read Brit. What is British about a Chinese car? I simply don't understand. Only till when are you going to hide under the British flag? We don't like Britain at all. We are not fans of British cars at all. They used to make crap cars. That's why all of them went bankrupt and were taken over by other companies. Anyways, that's not the point of this video. Let's come back to the Vinfast VF6. So like I was telling you, the electric motor here, the battery is big. It's an LFP battery pack. In this variant, in the wind variant, it is actually having 201 horsepower and 310 Newton meters of torque, which is quite a lot. The base earth variant is having a smaller electric motor, so their power is 175 horsepower and 250 Newton meters. Yeah, the earth variant is actually slower as well, 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 10.4 seconds is what I'm told. Okay, I'm just going to change the mode. Come on, yeah, we are in normal drive mode. Feels slightly better in normal drive mode. In fact, steering also weighs up a bit, so the drive mode not only makes changes to the performance but also makes changes to the steering wheel. And you'll just come to this. There's nothing as such in the screen to look out for. Maybe I can come into this EV menu. Sometimes the screen can take its own sweet time, so yeah, it's not the fastest as such. And did you hear that? Yes, there are synthesized sounds which I'm not able to turn off, so I don't think there are sound modes as such. There's just one default one, and that's how it works. Now 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in this car is claimed to come up in 8.5 seconds on their website. Oh, you heard that? Wheel spin? Yes, traction control is not off. It's in normal mode. Still though, at wheel spin comes reduced speed above 80 kilometers per hour. So the thing is 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 8.5 seconds on Vinfast's India website. Meanwhile, their India brochure of this car says 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 8.9 seconds. Why the confusion? Let's put it to test and figure out how fast it goes from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour. Claim range is 463 kilometers, which is not great. The Earth variant, the lower variant with 17-inch wheels, which is actually lighter by around 66 kgs, that has a range which is higher by 5 kilometers, I think, because of the lower weight probably. So 463 kilometers claim range means in the real world, what can I expect? Approximately 380, 390, which is okay. It's not great, it's not bad at all. I think the Creta does better there, but the Creta is slightly more expensive as well, but then Creta is more proven too. So few things here or there. What I don't understand is why they opted for front wheel drive. This is born electric, which it is. They could have opted for rear wheel drive, which means I could have got a frunk. I wouldn't have torque steer. There's a lot of torque steer here, which I will show you in a bit when I give this car the beans. The truck driver getting very honky right now. And anyways, so the thing is that this car's power is delivered in such a sharp way that you are just scrambling to hold the steering. There's a lot of torque steer, crazy amount of torque steer, which actually makes it quite difficult to drive if you're driving it spiritedly. And that's a problem with front wheel drive electric vehicles, because too much torque to handle for the front wheels. That's the reason why most people opt for rear wheel drive. If you're doing born electric, it should have been rear wheel drive. Better power delivery, okay, you get a frunk as well, better weight management, better crash worthiness, so many benefits of actually going for a setup which is rear wheel drive. I don't know why Vinfast has opted for front wheel drive here, just doesn't make sense at all. Okay, this car actually comes with a 3.3 kilowatt 16 ampere socket. Max it can do on AC charging is 7.2 kilowatt. Max it can do on DC charging is 100 kilowatt. In fact, Vinfast claims that this car goes from 10 to 70% in just 25 minutes using a 100 kilowatt DC fast charger. I don't understand this metric only. Since when did we start talking about 10 to 70%? At least 10 to 80% you could have told us. But yeah, it is what it is. Now, the weight of this car is quite a lot because of the weight of the battery. 2028 kgs, which is honestly a lot. And when I press this car mode now, I can switch it to come into regen levels. Now I've turned it off where it feels more natural and progressive. I'm going to come into high, which is the maximum regen possible. There are no paddle shifters to do it. You have to do it through the screen. You get used to it. It takes some time, but you definitely get used to it. I found it a little difficult initially, but after having driven this car for a day or so, I finally figured out how things are working here. So now I'm going to turn on the hazards. The button should be placed, it's placed here. And I'm not pressing the brakes at all, okay? I have left it completely on regen, letting the car decelerate on its own, which it is doing very smoothly, but it does not have one pedal driving, so it does not come to a halt. It will cruise at around 6 kilometers per hour. That's what it's doing. 5 kilometers per hour, 4 kilometers per hour. Will it stop? It will not stop. Usually it does 6 kilometers per hour, but I think there's a slope here because we're climbing a bridge. That's the reason the speed has slowed below 6 kilometers per hour. Yeah, that's it. It's going to cruise here. So I'm just going to apply the brakes, and it's the time to put this car into sport mode. And here I press this button. We come below, I turn off the ESP system. Yes, turn off, and traction control system also automatically turns off along with that, obviously. Time to reset this, and let's see how fast it goes from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour. Let's get a bit ahead so that the road becomes a bit flat, so it's fair. Otherwise, the car would be slower because of the incline, obviously. Now, listen to this, guys. Okay, left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, hazard lights off, and off we go. It doesn't give me the kick in the pants feel, but obviously it's one big fat linear pull. 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 8.48 seconds, which is actually faster than Vinfast's claim. So yeah, this car is actually quite fast. In fact, I accelerated very sober. I was full throttle, but I did not move the steering. If I moved the steering now, bro, trust me, the amount of tire screeching which happens is absolutely crazy, which I'll make you hear in a bit. So now I'm in sport mode, and I feel the steering has become much more heavier. Yeah, a little bit artificial, but because the steering is small and it has weight, it feels actually quite fun to drive. That's impressive. Body roll is there, but it's well contained. In fact, the handling is quite neat here. Even the ride, it's on the firm side. That's the reason why the handling and overall feel of the car is actually good, because they're obviously targeting European markets, and that's the reason they've stiffened up the suspension a bit, and it feels so nice to drive this car. It's fun. Yeah, it's actually quite fun. Only thing is you're wrestling with the steering all the time because of the torque steer. Yeah, that is what happens. You get on the throttle immediately. Even at 60 kilometers per hour, the wheels are spinning. So in sport mode, with traction control off, you are just gymming here, because the fight with the steering is absolutely real. Steering is light at low speeds, not very light, but has some heft to it. But as you speed up, it does weigh up. So I think the ride and handling balance is quite impressive. Yeah, the ride can be a bit stiff at slow speeds over bad roads, which is, oh my goodness. That is absolutely crazy. The kind of torque steer which happens, the wheel spins. That's the reason why you need rear wheel drive, by the way. It is going bonkers. Yeah, I just wish that the ride was slightly better, because for Indian roads now, you need a slightly softer suspension. This firmness is good for driving feel, but how many people are actually keen on driving an electric car for fun's sake? Most people just want to save money, and in terms of saving money, you can save a lot of money here, because Vinfast is like, we will help you save money by giving you free freaking charging till July 2028 at Vinfast's own charging network, which is known as V Green. In fact, they give you 3 years free maintenance, no maintenance for you for 3 years. And I read it on the internet that 10 years, 2 lakh kilometer warranty for the battery. But when I was reading the warranty card of this car, I realized that's not true, because that says 8 years, 1.6 lakh kilometers. But then the vehicle warranty is quite impressive at 7 years, 2 lakh kilometers, which is something I read on the internet. But in the warranty card I read, it is actually 1.6 lakh kilometers. Still not bad. In fact, this car comes with 12 years of anti-corrosion warranty and 5 years of paint warranty as well. And you know, there are the 3 variants: Earth, Wind, and obviously the Wind Infinity, which is this one, the top variant, which is priced at 19.43 lakhs. The range starts at 17.55 lakhs. So I think the pricing is where they have nailed it, because the pricing is absolutely phenomenal. Phenomenal is the smallest word I can use here, because I feel they have absolutely nailed the pricing here. They have to, because at the end of the day, Vinfast is an unknown brand. It is just 8-9 years old, and car brands like Tata Motors have still not been able to figure out a lot of things in their cars, like build quality, reliability, service experience, and all those things. So I think Vinfast is actually ahead of the curve, because they are better in that regard, because fit, finish, quality levels seem to be better here. This software also seems to be working fine. There have been no glitches as such. Yeah, some panel gaps here and there, hard plastics plenty in this car. That's something which is a bit of an issue. But initial batches were supposed to be CBUs. I think this is a CBU, because now they have their plant in China, and now they'll start CKD, and eventually they plan to manufacture this car in India, which is something which will help them get a very aggressive price. But it's not about cars alone. Vinfast is a huge group. It's huge. Like, Vinfast is part of the Vin group, which not only makes cars, like cars was their recent foray. They are into hospitals, hotels, resorts, taxi services, app-based taxi services, schools, you name it, they have it all. And that's something they plan to bring to India as well, and that's what Vinfast wants to do. They really want to bring the whole ecosystem, because they feel they can offer great services, and once they do that, then this car will start making a lot more sense. Oh my goodness, the way the tires screech, absolutely crazy. You know what, Vinfast also makes electric scooters and electric trucks, and they might also come to India. They launched the VF6 and the VF7 in India. They have the VF8 and VF9 as well. And what does Vinfast actually means? Vin obviously means Vietnam, but fast does not mean fast. It actually means a lot of things in Vietnamese. It actually starts with style, safety, creativity, and pioneer. That's what Vinfast actually means. Right now, their Chennai plant is having a production capacity of just 50,000 units a month. Oh my goodness, I can't go on throttle only aggressively in this mode. Yeah, 50,000 units is what is their production capacity, which they aim to scale to 1.5 lakh units if the demand is there. So it all depends on the demand. Anyways, it's the time to do the 0 to 100 km/h test again, but this time it's not about the test. It's more about screeching the tires right, left, and center. Hazard lights off. Listen to this, guys. Listen to this, okay? Crazy, right? Let's stop here and do it once again, because I really enjoy doing the wheel spins, electric or non-electric. It's just so damn freaking fun. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, hazard lights off, and off we go. It actually smokes, I kid you not. Absolutely bonkers. Obviously, this will eat into the acceleration time, but still 0 to 100 km/h in 8.33 seconds. What's happening? Vinfast, you are undercoding numbers. That's such a German thing to do from a Vietnamese brand. Anyways, Vinfast plans to invest rupees 20,000 crores in India, out of which they're going to invest 5,000 crores in the first 5 years itself, which is good for the Indian economy. In fact, The reason Vinfast is able to come here aram se is because they are from Vietnam, as India has obviously banned Chinese car companies. Otherwise the competition would have been crazy, and I honestly prefer to support a lot of these Chinese brands. I mean, I want them to be in India because more competition means better for the customer, and also means brands like Mahindra and Tata will be on their toes. They can no longer take customers for granted, and when we obviously get more brands, more competition, then there's going to be a price war, which means customers win. There's obviously going to be a war in terms of which is the better product, which means R&D has to be improved in Tata and Mahindra as well. Eventually what will happen, we are going to get better cars from Tata and Mahindra only if we get Chinese cars, because they are the only ones which can give a tough competition to Tata and Mahindra. Oh my goodness, look at the amount of smoke. Absolutely crazy. Smoke's insanely mad. Yeah, absolutely bonkers smoke. So much smoke. Yeah, it's all over the place. Absolutely fantastic time for the brake test. Hazard lights on, and here we step on it. The tires screech a lot. Tires need to be better here, but brakes are very strong. Now I'm going to do an honest 0 to 100 km/h acceleration test, which means we are going to go and turn on the traction control system. Not really, let it be on only, because let me put the full power down, but then I'll not steer, because when I steer, obviously it robs away the performance of the vehicle. But still, it's a very fast car, which is kind of surprising, faster than Creta Electric. Impressive, huh? And hazard lights off, and off we go, keeping the steering as straight as possible. But still, the torque steer has me fighting the steering wheel right, left and center, and that's 0 to 100 km/h in 7.6 seconds. What is this car? How is it so fast? Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Okay, slight slope there, but still you get the gist. It's a very fast car. So what exactly is Vinfast? How did it start in the first place? So basically, the founder of Vinfast, who's also the chairman right now and the MD, I believe, he was studying in Vietnam, obviously, and he had gone for some exchange program to Ukraine, and then he settled in Ukraine only, maybe he got a job there, and then he started selling noodles there. And that was basically dry noodles, because war was going on that time, so people wanted something which was economical to eat, right? That worked so well that he ended up selling that business of his for $150 million to Nestle. That's a lot of money. And then instead of just retiring and chilling in life, he decided, let me foray into multiple businesses. And then he set up a lot of things in Vietnam, right from hotels, resorts, and all those things. I already spoke about them earlier. And then one fine day he decides, let me start a car company as well, Vinfast, out of the blue, which is absolutely crazy. The first two products were actually internal combustion engine cars, which were rebadged BMWs, old BMWs. So they got the F10 BMW 5 Series after it was discontinued, and the F15 BMW X5 after it was discontinued. And both these cars were powered by the N20 petrol engine, the predecessor to the B48 engine, which obviously powers the car right now, the 2-liter engine which powers multiple BMWs right now, the B48 engine, which is fantastic. So they were using the N20, the older engine, which got discontinued. So basically it's a classic case of developed country car maker just selling off their old cars, discontinued cars, production line and rights to another car company, and they just did a nice face job to both the cars, good design changes and some interior changes, and they launched them. But the cars were not very well received because they were expensive. And then one fine day Vinfast is like, we're discontinuing these cars, which is going to be an EV only brand, and that's when they became an EV only brand. Now the interesting part here is that Vinfast in a few years time has actually made quite a mark, because they have entered multiple markets across the globe. Earlier cars had a lot of issues in software and a lot of other problems. However, they seem to have fixed it, so at least they are receptive to criticism. Well, not really, because I also read on the internet that one YouTuber who purchased one of those rebadged BMW cars had a lot of issues, and he spoke about them in his YouTube video, and they actually filed a police complaint against him, saying that he's trying to put down our brand and all those things. Defamation case, I believe. So yeah, that guy is as powerful as Adani is in India. He is that powerful in Vietnam, naturally, because you can't become ultra rich and continue to progress without obviously having support from the government, which is natural, because you get the drift. This is not a political lecture, but as I see it, this car is quite impressive. Yes, there are rough edges. Yes, it could be better in certain ways. Yes, it's maybe not as good as rivals. And this one in particular is not having space at the rear. So VF7 is something I really look forward to driving. But when you see the larger scheme of things, you realize that the pricing is very, very, very attractive. And considering the kind of investments and ecosystem the brand wants to build in India, once they do that, I think people will start trusting them and start buying their cars as well. I just hope that they bring the Chintu Mintu car, which is the MG Comet rival, because that's something which can sell really well, because people at the lower end are more price sensitive. Someone who's buying a 20 lakh car is like, okay, I'm buying a Vinfast, maybe should I get a Creta? Yes, the Creta is expensive by 3-4 lakhs, but at the end of the day, he's just going to take a loan. So the EMI is going to be 2,000-3,000 more per month. At least I have the peace of mind that Hyundai is a brand which I've seen since donkey's years. So that's one of the big challenges which Vinfast is going to face in India, because at the end of the day, car companies which are legacy have an inherent advantage for being there for donkey's years. And on that discovery, it's time to end. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. That's a like button, and also subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys in the next video real soon. I was looking for paddle shifters, but there are none. Bye bye. Woo-hoo!